All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different and, frankly, highly classified. I really need you to focus here because we're currently initiating a secure database login to access an underworld file that literally just leaked. We are opening case file Whisker City. Okay, let's dive into this. We are completely stepping out of our usual brightly lit environment and heading straight into the damp, neon-soaked streets of a very gritty, very dangerous small town. I'm going to guide you through this primary source evidence piece by piece so we can uncover the absolute insane structure of a ruthless syndicate.
But, before we even lay eyes on the core evidence, let's just look at the rigid security protocol required just to view this intel. Honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the level of danger we're dealing with. Look at the login requirements pulled directly from the source system. Step 1 is your standard sign-in with an email or phone number, but Step 2, that's the absolutely crucial point. The system explicitly warns us to use a private browsing window to sign in. We are absolutely not using guest mode today, folks. We need to maintain total cover from the cartel. And check this out, the database operates globally, offering language support all the way from Afrikaans to Jumon, which pretty much proves the tentacles of this operation reach way beyond the alleyways we're about to enter. So keep that private window active.
Okay, we're in, and here is our primary piece of visual evidence. Just take a moment to really let this image wash over you. What we're looking at is the absolute epicenter of a massive, illicit operation. This isn't your standard organized crime syndicate. We're talking about a literal mafia involving kitty cats, and they're completely running the streets of this rain-drenched small town. The shadows are incredibly deep, the neon is piercing, and the tension, it's palpable. We're going to forensically examine every single corner of this scene because this one snapshot tells a massive, complex story about power, territory, and a brewing war in the feline underworld.
Now look over at the environmental storytelling on the far left. Direct your attention right to that brick wall. Fading into the grime is a poster posing a pretty heavy question: who wants to be somebody? And right beneath it lies the brutal, unforgiving philosophy that literally governs this small town. In Whisker City, you eat or get eaten. This isn't just graffiti, it's a social contract. It tells us right out of the gate that this is a zero-sum game. There is no middle class here. There are predators and there is prey. It completely sets the stakes for everything else we're about to see.
Let's shift your focus to the lone feline figure standing in the rain in the foreground. This right here is our primary subject. Notice his posture. He isn't cowering, right? He's observing. He is planted firmly on that wet pavement, just looking up at the towering monolith of the cartel. In a town where you literally eat or get eaten, this figure has clearly survived long enough to become a major player in this unfolding drama.
And the visual clues painted right on our subject's back tell their own wild story. The customized, heavily torn leather jacket proudly displays the name Scratch. The wear and tear on this gear is honestly incredible. Look at the massive rips exposing the lining. This suggests he's either a street-level enforcer who has taken a ton of damage, or maybe a rogue detective operating completely outside the cartel's rules. He operates solo in these rain-slicked alleyways, and as he stares down the glowing headquarters of the syndicate, you can feel the imminent collision. This is the exact moment where shit just got real. Scratch isn't just passing by. He is here with a very specific purpose.
So what exactly is Scratch staring at? Look across the street. Move your eyes from the dark, damp pavement of the alleyway straight up into that glaring, artificial light. This is the Catnip Palace. Bathed in this towering pink neon, complete with a massive glowing feline icon at the very top. This is it, the untouchable central hub of the Catnip Cartel's operations. The sheer scale of it, especially compared to the narrow, dark alley where Scratch is standing, brilliantly illustrates the extreme duality and power dynamic going on here. The cartel controls the highly addictive catnip trade, and this fortress is where the wealth from that massive illicit empire is hoarded and flaunted for everyone to see.
But, as you can probably guess, you don't just walk into the Catnip Palace. Look a little closer at the ground-level entrance. Point your eyes past the glowing neon martini glass sign that marks the bar. Right there, flanking the entrance behind a velvet rope, are two shadowy, suited cat bouncers. This security detail means business. They're cloaked in darkness, which is a really stark contrast to the bright neon right above them, serving as the literal physical barrier between the gritty street and the exclusive vice happening inside. They are the ultimate gatekeepers to the cartel's inner sanctum.
Now gaze just above those bouncers to the brightly lit theater marquee. It boldly advertises, tonight, the Whisker 5. Now this begs a massive question.
Is this just evening entertainment? You know, like a jazz band playing in the lounge? Actually, scratch that, knowing this town, is this a brazen, public display of the cartel's ruling bosses? Because in real-world organized crime, the Commission, which is a governing body or ruling council of 5 powerful families, is a classic structural tactic used to divide territory and manage conflicts. If the Whisker 5 represents this cartel's commission, then Scratch isn't just looking at a building, he's looking directly at his targets.
To understand the present, we always have to look at the past, right? Fading into the masonry below that first poster on the brick wall is a secondary, much older message. It reads, "Live Fast, Chase Tail, 1995. This detail is fascinating. It hints at some really deep lore. Was 1995 the year the cartel actually took power? Was it the year of some legendary gang war? Or is it an old street code that the modern corporate-style cartel over at the Catnip Palace has completely forgotten about? It's basically a historical ghost that still haunts these alleys and informs the current generation of street cats.
So the absolutely crucial point we arrive at is the stark duality of this environment. Just look at the two realities of this small town side by side. On one hand, you have the glitz, the towering neon, and the velvet ropes of the Catnip Palace, representing immense, centralized cartel wealth and power. On the other hand, you've got the gritty, torn jacket reality of the Whisker City alleyways, perfectly represented by Scratch. The source material is masterfully using light and shadow to show exactly how the power dynamics of this town actually operate. The wealth flows straight up into the neon, while the struggle stays trapped down in the dark, wet streets.
Stepping back to view the whole shebang one last time, the full context finally materializes. Notice how the cinematic rain pouring down, catching all that light from the neon signs, sets a heavy, oppressive mood that just perfectly mirrors the tension. And then, at the very bottom, bold and completely unmissable, we have the text marking this file, Episode 1, The Beginning. Yeah, this isn't the aftermath of a conflict. This is the quiet, super tense moment right before the explosion. A turf war is about to erupt between the lone street enforcer and the untouchable syndicate. The storm isn't just in the weather, guys, it's in the streets.
Which brings us to the end of our intel drop today, leaving us with one massive, lingering question. If this is only the beginning, who will actually survive the night in Whisker City? Will Scratch's street-level grit be enough to topple the heavily guarded Catnip Palace, or will the Whisker 5 prove that in this town you truly do just get eaten? Think about how these power dynamics mirror real-world syndicate structures, where all the wealth is insulated at the top, while the street-level enforcers literally battle for scraps. Well, for now, our time is up. For your own safety, I highly recommend you log out immediately and clear that private browsing history. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.